All right, Evie, as you are approaching Elk's Point, you've been traveling for a few days after completing a job down in Fulton, where you are from and grew up. Nothing crazy, but you're kind of still working out some of these new druidic powers that you are kind of learning about in this book. And as you've been kind of traveling, you've taken note on a few kind of new spells that you're still trying to get used to. And as you've been making your way and making some stops, you've been going out to try to practice some of the spells. So you're trying to get a little bit more proficient in some of the ones that that you are able to understand in this kind of strange and tattered book. There's some depictions and inscriptions that you're not quite familiar with, that you're still trying to pick up with kind of this new language, new druidic language that you're still kind of getting the sense of. In some cases, it's similar to some of the Elven language that you grew up with knowing, but there's certain differences between the two that you're still trying to work through. And as you have been practicing some of these spells and casting some of these things, you've come to realize that the way you say some of the incantations or the movements kind of dictate a little bit what the effect is actually going to be. You've had a few close run-ins with almost freezing yourself accidentally. Couple of close run-ins with almost setting yourself on fire. There was just one instance where you actually managed to light some of your clothes on fire, and you had to go jump in a pool of water just to kind of get you set out while you were traveling along the road. But you've been slowly getting a little bit more acclimated to some of the text in this book. And as you've been learning, things are starting to click into place, but you're still not proficient at the druidic craft and some of the new stuff that you're trying to learn. But you're working on it. You've been kind of led to get to Elk's Point for another task that this mysterious stranger who gave you the book in the first place has asked for you to come investigate. As far as you know, you're going to be meeting someone in Elk's Point, and you're going to be heading towards the Rusty Hooves Tavern once you get into town. Over the next couple of days, you make your way up and you manage to reach Elk's Point about mid-afternoon. So there's a little bit of hustle and bustle going about the town as people are closing out their day. You see people going in between shops, taking care of either shutting down for the day for some shops. Other places like taverns, restaurants, inns are starting to open up for business, and you're seeing a lot of foot traffic in and out of those areas as you come into the city. As you approach, you see a kind of very humble abode type places, a lot of thatch and wood roofs throughout the building, or throughout the buildings and the architecture there. Nothing super fancy like Fulton Stand, where it's all built up and it's a lot more of a proper city. This is a little bit more smaller and a little bit more of a town feel, where it's not quite as robust, not quite as much stonework, brick lay, all that kind of stuff. A little bit more kind of woodsy from what you were, from what you've been used to in Fulton Stand in the area. So you get into the town. You can take a look around. Most of the places that you can see around are shops and keeps. You've come by several probably suburban areas as you've made your way into the center of town. And when you get there, you notice a line of shops, and you see typical kind of Western sign. You see the hanging of two rusty hooves, and you assume that's probably the place that you've been told to go. But as you get into town, you have the freedom to go wherever you choose. If you want to stop in somewhere or just take a look around before you enter into the tavern.
I'm just gonna do a quick sweep of the area to make sure I'm not being followed or if there's escape routes.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Yes. You're not going to believe me, isn't that 20?
Okay. Starting it off right. I like it. As you look around, you don't notice anyone that's been following you. You've been keeping a decent watch on as you've made your journey up here to Elks Point. There's been several other caravans or people that have gone along certain parts of the route that you've been taking to get up to Elks Point. No one has crossed your mind of being out of place or could be deemed as someone that would be tracking you for any purposes.
Yeah.
You notice that a lot of the gaps in between buildings are a lot of alleyways. It's where you see a lot of trash being that has been put out. A lot of ways to kind of get out if you need to in a pinch. Okay. So there are definitely ways for you to kind of ducktail and run if you need to.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna head into the tavern.
Okay. You head into the tavern. It's still a little sparse. Not everyone has made it in here. That would be the normal evening fare of folks in for either drinks or dinner. You get into the tavern. There are plenty of open tables. You see maybe about 20-ish patrons out of a place that might be able to host 80 or so people either dining or at the bar. As you come in, you see a whole bunch of tables and chairs. You see some booths on the side. Both sides, you see a bar in the back. You also see on the other corner where probably the kitchen is and where the cashier is, where people can go up to either order. It's a little bit more of a you go up and order and then kind of come back and sit down type of place.
Okay. I'm just gonna head over to the bar and ask the bartender if he has seen anybody asking for a Evie rodder.
Okay. You head up to the bar. There's only two other people sitting there. They're right smack in the middle of the bar. They both have drinks. You decide to pick one side of the bar and you wait a minute until the barkeep comes around and notices that you're there and asks you if you want anything to drink. Which case he says he has not seen anybody come in asking for an Evie rotor so far this evening.
Okay. And then I just asked for some grog. Okay. Some ale.
Yep. So that'll be 2 silver pieces and goes and starts pouring you some of the ale that they have on tap.
I give him 2 silver and then 1 copper as a tip.
Okay. He comes back and puts the drink down and says, "Much obliged, thank you." Goes and puts it in a little bag of change that's on the back of the bar. While you wait, you can either look around, see other patrons coming in, or we can just jump straight to the person coming in that's going to be looking for you.
Evie's not that bothered really with anybody who's in the bar at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. A little bit of time goes on. A lot more people start to push into the tavern. A lot of people starting to get their meals. At this point, the bar is mostly full. There's maybe 2 or 3 seats. You've been trying to keep sure that there's a seat beside you at all times, kind of putting your foot on the stool to indicate that, hey, this is taken. So no one else has really come up to take the seat that's been by you. About 30 or 40 minutes go on before someone comes up to you and asks, "Hey, is this seat taken?"
Not particularly. What's your name?
The name's Birch. But what's your name?
I go by Evie.
Evie. Well, you mind if I hop down and get a quick drink? I won't be here for too long. Looks like you might be waiting for someone, but...
No, go for it. I don't see any problem with that.
Oh, okay. He asks for a pint, puts down 2 silver, and also gets the the stein of beer pulled over to him. And then you get this little tingling sensation that you've kind of familiar now with this entity that has presented you the book and kind of given you these things before. So as Birch downs or finishes the beer, he looks over to you, and then you kind of get the vibe and a little bit of the the weird effect in the face that you've come to kind of realize is this entity that you've been dealing with before is kind of now exuding their presence through this person.
I keep my facing forward and go, I see you finally showed up.
Ace, that's your cue.
I would have coughed all over you. Well, I wouldn't very well just announce my presence now, would I?
Oh, God.
Hope I haven't kept you waiting long.
Oh, no. I've just been enjoying this nice ale from this fine tavern.
Yes, I'm sure drinking away all of your failures does have its benefits.
I don't know what failures you are on about, good sir.
How's the book been treating you?
That, my friend, is your failure.
Nay, I know all about your little failures and all your little shortcomings, and I'm very impressed with your progress, but I much expected you to have a much stronger command of it at this point.
Maybe if you provided me with a book that actually is fully put together, I would have gotten further on into it.
My dear child, you're asking for things of which you don't actually know. You asked for a more put-together book, and yet you came to me seeking a book as if you knew what a put-together book looks like. I can tell you for sure, my dear, that book that you have in your hand is as original of a copy as you can get.
Then why is it that I cannot fully wild shape?
My dear, that is a user error. You cannot blame the text. You cannot blame the ancient runes. Not everyone is just going to pick it up and be able to run with it. Would you expect a common peasant to just throw a fireball? Would you expect a brand new bard down in the college to immediately silver-tongue the king? Dearie, that is about as an advanced book as you can get, and it will teach you everything you need to know. Now, let it be clear, I am not admonishing you. Just making sure that you understand that just because you have this shiny new silver token in your pocket does not mean that suddenly you are the greatest druid in the land.
I never said such a thing. I never even thought about being the best druid. I just wanted magical powers. I am just a human with no other ability. I just wanted to leave my village, and you have granted me that. I thank you for that. But this book you have given me after our agreement, it is not working as it should have been.
Let me ask you this. On what basis are you determining that it's not working? What are you comparing it to? Or is it merely just that your dreams have not been attained yet?
I have studied this book for, I don't even know how long anymore. And I have learnt Druidic, and I have put together these words, and I'm slowly getting to them over time. But the words that I do know, put together in these strings of sentences, they make no sense.
Interesting that you believe that. So, do you believe that I have given you a faulty copy? Or do you believe that maybe the author of the book wrote it intentionally wrong? I'm curious to think what makes it the book's fault and not the little human who has no magical power going into this. It's somehow not their fault. No one's blaming you, child. I can honestly tell you that no one's expecting you to master the arts on your first day. However, something as simple as getting frozen solid is a little concerning.
Yes, it did take me a while to get out of that one, but make no don't take any chances on me. That blah 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 blah. Georgie can't speak today.
Take your time.
What's that book? What's in that ale?
It's the ale, man.
It's the ale. You've only had one so far.
I am no
Jeez,
fool.
lightweight.
I know what you are. You are a trickster. You cannot play me for a fool if you are one trying to play me.
So you believe that I am deceiving you. You believe that I have given you this as a charlatan, as not quite what I promised you.
Yes, you obviously want something, otherwise you would not be here.
Roll a
Ah, dear, don't we all want something?
Evie, roll a nature check for me, please.
That is a... Ooh.
+5.
Yeah, that is a 10.
10. You get the sense that maybe there's some things about how the book is written that you might not have a quite good understanding yet, but you're still pretty sure that how the book is written and how some of the things come across, something doesn't feel quite right about it. So you have reason for your questioning.
Child, you have the book on you.
I do. Of course.
Man begins to flip through the book.
You hand him the book.
And you say,
Okay.
you say you're having trouble fully wild shaping.
Yes. Sometimes I ask to be a wolf, then I turn into a wolf with hooves, or I'm pink. And I don't understand where I could possibly go wrong here.
Let me see. The being flips to the pages on wild shapes, begins to look through it. Ah, my dear child. Do you see this rune right here?
Mm-hmm.
And he points to one of the many runes that make up like some of the spells and, various incantations. Dear child, I don't know if you notice, and he like rubs on it a little bit, and part of the rune rubs off.
Oh gosh.
Dear child, it looks like something was on this page that made this rune appear to be something that it was not. For something as simple as that, I don't blame you. Anyone could have been fooled by this. But you're telling me that you almost have it right. That tells me that the spell is almost correct. I think you will find with this new revised edition that you will be able to more accurately wild shape.
Can I roll to see if he's lying?
Roll invest. How do you want to see if he's lying or not?
That would be an Arcana
Well,
check.
hang on.
Book.
How do you want to try to figure out if he's lying or not? What are you gonna do?
I want to wild shape to see if it works.
In the tavern, or
I'm gonna recommend that we at least step out or go to a room.
We go outside of the tavern.
Okay, so you're gonna walk outside. No one really pays attention
Go
to
around
you.
back.
You're just gonna do this in an alleyway. You want to try to find an open space to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend that random wild shaping should be done around back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go into an alleyway. You manage to get into the main alley that goes behind this specific row of shops, where it's a little bit more open. You kind of look around, make sure that there's no one that's apparently watching or keeping a close eye, and that there's no traffic, and there's not a lot because it's still the sun's still out, it's still kind of early evening, so the only you see maybe a couple people putting new trash bags out, but nothing of that would be regular foot traffic. So go ahead and try the wild shape.
Okay, I'm going
Roll
to
your
turn
D20.
into. Yeah, I'm going to try and turn into the wolf I said I was struggling with earlier, and I just got a 3.
Roll a Arcana check as well.
Arcana. Yeah. 3. That's 19. 22.
22. Okay. So you take your time this time to study for sure what the new incantation is supposed to be for wild shape. Now that Devonius has now apparently corrected the error in the book. What'd you say you were going to try the wild shape into?
The wolf.
That she keeps trying to do.
Right. So as you start to morph, you start to become a wolf, but then you have a rabbit's face. You have a wolf body, but the facial features are of a rabbit.
There seems to be an issue again.
I think I see the problem.
You think?
Dear child, come to your normal form.
And I change back.
Yep.
This tells me exactly everything I need to know. Most of everything you did, the incantation, the preparation, was spot on. However, I think there's something more ethereal holding you back. This rabbit's face that you've now presented tells me exactly who is holding you back.
Oh!
I did not plan this, by the way.
I have figured out how to solve your little problem. You merely must do a small favor for me, and I can promise you that this spell will go exactly the way you need it to in the future. We just have to remove an issue that is presenting itself and causing the spell to go awry. You're not afraid to get your hands a little dirty, are you?
I thought you knew me better than that. Of course I'm not.
I must ask, because this is no mere steal a small child's pocketbook or run off with the king's clothes. No, I need you to remove somebody from existence.
You wish for me to put a hit on somebody?
However she is dealt with is completely up to you. But there is a small bunny character named Malog. Runs with a group that I am familiar with. She, her very existence, is messing up with the Fey planar dimension. Her very essence existing in our universe is what is ruining that spell. Her rabbit, animal, humanoid existence is a mockery to this spell. And therefore, if you remove her from this dimension, this spell will have no more roadblocks. It is not you, dear child. You appear to have the great mastery of this spell. It is her that is holding you back from attaining this true mastery.
Okay.
Do this, and I will personally go over your entire book with a fine-toothed comb, making sure that every single incantation, ritual, and spell is exactly as how it is meant to be. You will have no further issues with this book.
I go, okay, and I flip through the book and I get to this one page and I go, including putting pages back.
noticed that little bit, did you? And with that, he pulls a page from his sleeve.
Mm-hmm. And you said you weren't messing with me.
And you said you wanted to be a druid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if I remove this bunny, you will let me have that page?
He, with a flick of his wrist, you notice it's not 1 page, but 5 pages. My dear, I will return the book to its rightful form.
Understood. Where can I find this bunny?
Where are they at now, Dust? I don't remember.
So they are still on the route. They're not by any specific town or village, but you basically explain that there's this hut along a path that is to the west, so just across the river, and to the south, that she can meet up with someone who will probably be able to take her in for a night while she kind of figures out who she can find to put a hit on them. But they're going to be coming from the south up that way, and they'll be able to find the party along that route.
Yeah, what he said. Bada.
Understood. I think. Yes, I can make that work.
If you require any assistance, I have ears and eyes everywhere. You merely have to mention you might need some help, and I will send one of my underlings to make sure that your needs are taken care of. Once I confirm that this bunny's essence has been scrubbed from our universe, I will personally make sure that your book is returned to its rightful whole state.
Understood. Why do you want this bunny so much? Obviously, this bunny is causing a hassle enough for you to get involved.
Let's just say, in addition to her existence messing up the mystical ether that is enveloping all of us, she is also accosting one of my associates. And so, as a favor to them, I am getting a favor from you. It's a nice favor chain.
Understood. I like having information, but I can let this one slide, seeing as it gives me something else in return.
Dear, if you knew more, you would go faster. I am merely trying to make sure that your head is in the right place and that you're doing this for the right reason. I promise you, her disappearing from this world will have very little impact on things going forward.
Yes, okay. I will see what I can do about that, and I will get back in touch.
That's a good lass.
So I guess...
Oh, and don't worry about getting in touch with me. I'll find you.
You say that, but this time I got in contact with you.
That's a nice thought, arriving 30 minutes early to a tavern in the middle of nowhere, wondering how I then know that you were sitting at the bar waiting on me.
Oh, so you did keep me waiting for your fun.
I wouldn't go with keep you waiting, more that you were holding up your end of the deal.
Well, sir, I guess this is where we part ways.
But now, take care, and remember, she's quick, that one.
I won't doubt it.
So you see Devonius walking back through the little alleyway that you came between the two shops, the tavern and another shop, walking out, and you're there in the alley, holding the book in your hand, still open to the section where the pages have been ripped out.
You know, there's a little piece of paper where the pages are supposed to go, and it's just a picture of a bunny, and it says Maylog, and it's got like an X over the bunny.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this one. Hey. And then she proceeds to make her way to try and get some form of travel.
Okay. So you,
Might I suggest a bounty hunter named Elmer Fudd? I think he knows how to kill a rabbit.
Wabbit. It's wabbit
that's
season.
actually not a bad idea.
It's wabbit season.
So as you make your way back out, I guess you're going back out into the main street that the tavern's on. Okay. Are you going specifically to look for travel accommodations right now? Okay. You look around, roll a perception check again for me.
Oh gosh. That is. Oh gosh, that's. I'm blind.
Plus 5.
Perception plus 5. That's 15.
15. All right. You look around. You walk around for a few minutes. There's nothing on this particular street. It's mostly shops and taverns. You look around town for maybe another 15 minutes, and you see kind of on the outskirts. That's where you see some horses. You see some carriages, some wagons that you can take if you need to. You find something that's in the direction of where you'll need to depart. There is some stables up in that direction that you can go and check out if you want to find something there. There's also looks like a few different caravans that are kind of packing and loading up that might be heading out that direction as well. So you have a few options that you might be able to find travel either by kind of purchasing your own travel or maybe hopping on with some other traders or parties that are heading out of town maybe sooner, something like that.
I'm going to go check out the stables first.
Okay. You go on over to the stables. There are several different wagons. A couple of them look like they've been beat up, maybe just some rough terrain that they've been through that are being patched up. There's several that are still in good working order. There's also about 6 or 7 horses in stalls and stables that are looks like they are kind of just there at the order of needing to be used or for purchase of use by whoever needs to use them. You look around after a couple minutes. You see probably is the stable manager that's working kind of behind the scenes. What would you like to do?
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Looks over and it's like, oh, hello, Missy. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a well-rounded horse.
Okay. What you looking to go somewhere, or are you looking just to find some, just one for some general horseback riding? What kind of horse are you looking for?
I'm looking for a travel horse to help me get to locations.
Okay. How long do you expect to be gone before returning the horse? Or do you not plan to return the horse?
I'm looking to maybe try and purchase one.
Okay. We've got a few that are available, probably that they might be able to part on. You looking for something that's sturdy, that can handle rough terrain, doesn't scare easily, or are you looking for one that's a little bit more, maybe not as costly?
Not as costly, but it's trainable.
Okay. We've got a few that are already pretty well trained as far as being able to be around people that don't get scared very easily around people. Maybe not as quick to react to commands, but all of our horses have some level of experience with people and respond to basic commands.
I'm very well with I grew up around them, but I'm willing to look what you have.
I see. Well, he pulls out a like an accounting book that kind of has a listing of some horses. You see some names crossed off. You also see some marks for, looks like, ones that have been rented out for travel. And he kind of goes down the list and points out to a few of them. Also shows you the cost is kind of around on the lower end between 20 and 40 gold pieces for buying a horse outright. On the lower end, and then the higher end, you can kind of look over and see some of the numbers are maybe upwards of 80 to 100 gold pieces for some of the more, what you assume might be more well trained or a lot more or maybe a more hardy or whatever like that.
Would Evie have that money, seeing as she's like kind of like a bounty kind of person?
I'll say for the purposes of this interaction, yeah, you'd probably have enough gold to maybe get the lower end of it. So say you have 25 gold pieces to work with.
I have about 25 gold that I can spare. Would any be in that price range?
Yes, we've got a couple. A couple of the runts of, so to speak. I don't know what a runt would be for a horse, but a little more stubborn than some of the rest that we haven't had the ability to train quite as well. That we haven't put a lot of time into. That be happy to maybe look at. Would you like to see the horses before you choose?
Yes, please. Have you got any that of the cheaper end that are more bulkier that could take a hit if allowed?
But I have to go out and take a look at. They're not usually on the cheaper end. That's usually the higher end. But we can go and take a look. So he
maybe one that's not trained as much.
He raises the desk and puts it back down, and then takes a set of keys with him and walks you out amongst the stables. Goes into a barn, unlocks the door, and you open the door. You see several other horses in there that you didn't see out in the stalls before. You see these at the front. There's these beautiful horses, great manes, very nice coats, very thick tails. You see a couple of them that are brown, some black. You see one or two white horses in there. But going to the back, you see kind of where they start to get maybe a little bit lesser in price. So obviously trying to put up a show on their best horses at the front of the barn. As you get to the back, you see a couple of horses. One that's a little bit more brown with some grayness to it. Looks like it's a little bit of an older horse compared to the rest of the horses in there. And then you see another one that is a little bit more young, really rough fur, couple of patches that maybe haven't quite fully grown in or developed yet. Looks like it might be a younger horse. So the stable master points out to these two different horses and kind of mentions that the older horse will do you right. It's older. It's been around people. It's traveled enough to where it can handle most just kind of on the path terrain. You can't maybe go off path too much, but we'll get you to your destination, as he explains. And then the younger one is one that they've had a lot of problems trying to train, obeying commands. Sometimes she'll listen, sometimes she won't. But it's a little bit younger, and between those two horses, that would fall within the 25 gold price range for you.
I would like to consider this younger horse, as I would wish to continue my journeys and not have to worry about health that much.
Well, she's definitely a bit of a young spirit. Good luck trying to keep her in check. I definitely recommend keeping a close eye on her. Make sure that you rope her down, or else she will most likely run off on her own if you're not careful. Yes, we'd be more than happy to give her to you for 25 gold pieces if you. That is your offer.
Seeing as she is likely to run, would we be able to throw in some food for free? Seeing as I have a chance of losing her if I'm spending this.
He looks around. And is like, I can probably give you a bag of food to maybe use as something to help entice her with on your as you're getting acquainted to one another. I might be able to throw that in there for you, but you'll find easily that food isn't always the path to get her to follow you.
Yes, I just don't want her to, start starving before we reach to another town. That's all.
Well, if you would join me back at the desk, we will finalize the transaction, and I will get you your new horse.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so you take care of it. You hand over the 25 gold. He goes to the side of the stable where they keep all the food, grabs a small sack of food, pretty much the smallest sack that he could find. He filled the food and gave it to you. It might be worth, or might get you 1 or 2 days worth of food out of it, other than maybe the horse just grazing on some grass or some
grass.
Yeah. Gets to the stable, hands you the reins of the horse. Has a very simple, just kind of almost just kind of draped over saddle. Looks like it's probably one of the cheaper saddles that they have to put on the horse.
Yeah.
And he says, this is just a little saddle that we have lying around. You can probably find one a little bit more in town if you want something a little bit better than this, if you need something to actually buckle down onto her. But her name is excuse me, her name is Elisa.
Okay.
So I hope you find her well for your travels, and thank you for doing business. If you got anyone else that's interested in the horse, tell them Eric is the place to see at the north side of town.
I'll let them know. And then I take the reins and we head off out. And as I'm walking out, I'm like, we're definitely changing that name, darling.
Go ahead and roll the animal handling check.
Nat 20.
Ooh, okay. So at first she seems to be taking a liking to you. Probably get the sense that just with how the stables run, she doesn't get much attention. So the fact that someone's actually paying attention to her and giving her some attention and affection, that she might actually take to you a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure what we're going to name you just yet, but we will figure it out soon enough, and we will become very close friends. I can guarantee you're going to be a beauty. And then we just walk off.
She kind of gives a little and kind of does that little head nod a little bit as you all are walking off. Right, at this point, it's probably the sun's kind of on its way of setting down. It'd probably be about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. Try to ride out and make it to. We'll just say for the sake of it, it's going to be. Probably if you ran by horseback, it would probably take a day to get to the hut that the Devonius told you about. Otherwise, you could try to find a place to stay.
I feel we will we'll walk. We'll walk it, and we'll camp halfway.
Okay. So you head on out of the town. Any final thoughts about trying to purchase anything else? Food for yourself, equipment, supplies. Let's say you have another.
I have a
5
day's
gold
ration.
left.
I have a day's ration, so I'll be able to live off that. And horse, we can live off that for a day, so we should be okay before.
Okay. Are you planning to just walk alongside the horse for now, or are you planning on riding the horse?
I will use animal handling to try and gain the trust to ride her. See if she lets me.
Okay. How are you trying to gain her trust? Like, what actions would you be doing?
Spawned with destiny.
Every time, like I put like some weight into the foot, the holster. Every now and then every time like she doesn't do anything, like she gets a negative kind of feeling about it, I give her like a little treat to be like, it's okay, it's good, it's good.
Okay. Anything else that you're doing, or are you just doing that?
And like talking to her, being like, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. We're friends. I'm a friend. I'm okay.
Okay. So just kind of talking with the horse, kind of just petting her, reassuring her.
Yeah. And giving like treats and like to make sure like she understands it's good.
Go ahead and roll animal handling with advantage.
That is a 18 plus 5, so 23.
23. Okay. You spend the better part of a couple of hours as it starts to get into the evening. Path is lit by some villages along the way out that are still probably part of Elks Point proper in a way, but a little bit more of the suburban area. So there's still enough light to kind of see where you're going as the sun is setting. After a couple of hours, you get to the point where you hop on her back and she stops. Just stops walking for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't thrown you off. She hasn't bucked. She hasn't like done anything. She kind of looks back to see that you're on her, and she stopped.
Let's have a look. I kind of like try and usher her forward, like be like, come on, like let's try and move forward.
Okay. You just using the reins, or you kind of kicking in on the sides, or what? How are you trying to do that?
Mostly rein, a little bit of a tap, like not to scare her.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you give a slight tap of the reins, and she starts walking.
That a girl, and I just like start petting her like really nicely, like being like, "You're so good."
Okay. Yeah, and you all start walking off. Another hour or so goes by. Nothing has seemed to happen with her. She's still walking. You're still riding. You're still just kind of every once in a while petting her, making sure that she's okay and that she feels good. Yeah. So far, seems to be nothing is really causing her to freak out or anything. She hasn't thrown you off. It's just she's been walking.
Is that everything? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think once we make it halfway, we'll set up camp and I'll give her like most of her feed.
Okay.
For the day.
So as you make your way out, you continue to go on. It's now at this point it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Roll a perception check for me, please.
18 plus 5 again.
Okay. You look around as it's now you basically just have the moonlight that's providing light to you at night at this point as it gets into the later hours of the night. You're looking around, just making sure that there's nothing along the pathway that's going to kind of jump out and scare you or anything like that. And you kind of see some rustling provided by the moonlight. You're actually able to kind of see where there might be animals out in the distance around some of the tree areas. It's maybe like 60 to 100 feet where the trees are outside or away from the main path at this point. It's pretty well traveled, so a lot of the wildlife doesn't usually come across here, and it seems like that's holding true. You go on for another couple hours. You start to hear the river that Devonius had told you about, that you'd be needing to cross, and now it's about 2 or 3 in the morning.
I'll set up camp right next to the river, and I'll take my rope that I have, and I'll tie it to the reins, and I'll tie it to the tree.
Okay. You head off the pathway a little bit. There's plenty of trees around. You find one that looks like it'll hold on to her, so she doesn't go running off. Do you go off a little bit of ways from her? Do you stay by her?
I stay next to her. I set up the camp next to her.
Okay.
And I put food on the floor so that she can reach.
Okay. So you open the bag. You pour some of the feed out.
Yeah.
You put it. Okay. Pour some of the feed out. She makes a couple neighing noises and starts eating while you're putting the fire together, getting out your rations and eating for the night. You just planning on sleeping through the night?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As it gets around maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, you kind of been sleeping in, trying to get some sleep in. You hear a noise that kind of wakes you. It's actually a few snapping of trees. As you kind of wake up suddenly and startled, you're not sure which direction it's coming from, but you wait a few seconds later, and there's some more snapping of trees and branches. It sounds like there's something that is potentially coming in your direction. It's kind of in around you, but you don't really get a good sense of how far away it is yet, or where specifically it's coming from.
I step out, and as I'm climbing out of the like where I'm sleeping, I ready my. Oh gosh, I was just looking at horse character sheets. Seeing as I didn't expect to buy a horse today.
I should probably look that up too, actually.
I ready my my ice. I ready my ice knife. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just look this up too, so I have it. Where's horse?
It's monster. It's in the monster manual. I think it's under riding horse.
Oh, riding horse. I don't want to just be under horse.
Because there's a draft horse as well. They have different.
Okay, riding horse. Okay.
I think there's multiple different kind of horses. To be fair.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. So you come out of. I guess you had some kind of. You have like a tent or something in your inventory.
Yeah.
Or, okay. Cool. So you come out of the tent and you kind of wait for a minute. Roll a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So you take a minute, and after a couple minutes go by, you hear a few more snaps and breaking of some more limbs. And then you start to hear the sound of hounds coming from a little bit of a southern direction, almost kind of like it's coming up the river. Another few minutes go by, you still hear more. You're starting to hear now shouts. Maybe someone who is pursuing something that is now running along the river bank, or could be a creature, could be a person. You don't know just yet, but you hear some shouting in the distance. It's kind of a little bit inaudible, and you can't make out what is being said at the moment.
I grab the reins of my horse and I slowly walk a bit towards the river so that they know my presence is there.
Okay. The river at this point is probably about 500 feet from you.
Okay.
You can kind of you look down the pathway. You kind of see where the bridge across the river starts. So it'd take you a little bit to get there. If you were just walking, it'd take you a couple minutes.
I'll do that. I don't want to get in their way if they're just going to attack me.
Okay.
I'll just take my time.
Okay. So after just slowly walking towards the river with the horse, I'm assuming you probably took time to kick out.
Yeah, because we roll up the bedroll and stuff.
Yeah. All right. So we'll say that takes you another probably 5 minutes or so. All the while you hear the ongoing commotion still kind of approaching, and then as you start to wrap up, it starts to fade, almost like whatever was being chased or whatever's being chased has now crossed the path and maybe starting to go into the woods on the other side of the path.
I was like, oh, I didn't know what was going to happen if you got spooked there. Well, we'll set it down right here, and I tie it to the nearest tree, and I don't bother setting up the campfire or tent. I just literally just roll out the bedroll.
Okay. Yep. So, seems like she hasn't been spooked too much through everything that's going on. The sounds were you kind of gathered the sounds were pretty distant. That probably wasn't enough to startle her at this point. But as the sounds kind of go off into the distance and you don't hear anything anymore, quiet resumes. You still just hear the distant water of the river.
Okay. Yeah, and I just go back to sleep. Well, attempt to.
So another hour goes by, and you see some more people coming down the pathway. Don't look too out of place. It looks like it might just be another caravan of some kind, or people that are just traveling. Over to you as you're waking up and putting stuff together. It's like, and they're asking you, "Oh, hi there. You spent the night. How you doing? Is everything okay out here?"
Yeah. Nothing much of note. I think just really there was some hunting dogs, I believe they were. People yelling. Maybe somebody was being chased. I don't know.
Hunting dogs. I mean, we have a few people that have hunting dogs back at the town, but there's probably a logical explanation for it. Where are you heading to?
Just outside of Elfrost, I believe. I've been given a contract to go and complete there.
Okay, I see. Kind of when you mention contract, they're kind of not too. It looks like they're not too keen on people that take contracts for some reason. And they're just like, okay, well, best of luck to you. And then they just
have a nice day.
They keep going.
Adios. Bye.
As they progress on by, it's a horse-drawn wagon. You see, it looks like at the time it was a gentleman at the front, and you look at the back. It looks like there's a kid that's sitting on the back of the wagon. It's also
I just like waved to him like a little tiny little wave, just like hi.
Lifts back and he kind of gives a little wave as well. So you pack up, get all your stuff collected,
Yeah.
hop back on the horse. Go ahead and roll another animal handling check.
Oh gosh, the dice ran away. Oh, that's going in my shoebox, isn't it? Oh, well, that's lost forever.
You die.
R.I.P. That was the good dice. That was giving me the good rolls.
Do you need to go get it?
No, I probably won't find it. I've literally just lost a D6. One day I'll empty it, and I'll find all the dice I've lost. Oh, that was an 18, so plus 5,
right.
23 again.
So you repeated some of the same things that you did the night prior to kind of calm her and just reassure her that you don't mean any harm to her, that you're well-meaning, and you hop on, and again, she like once you hop on, she's just standing there.
It's like, giddy up, and like I go, and I usher on forward.
Okay, you do the rain things again, and she's still standing there.
I'm like, all right, I kind of maybe just throw a little bit of food in front of her, just to get her to move a bit forward.
Okay. All right. She goes over to the food and kind of sniffs it and kind of picks it up a little bit, and then just standing there.
And then I go again, and I go, yeah, and I kind of like move forward as well, and like move.
Okay. Roll another animal handling check.
Nat 1.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you try to rock forward. She's still standing there.
Right, I guess we're taking the long way, and I just hop off and I just walk her.
Okay. At this point, you get the reins, you kind of lead her, and she does walk beside you.
I guess we're going to have to take this night to do some training then, I guess.
So you guys walk across the bridge that's been built over the river. You take a look to both sides. You don't really see anything in your immediate vicinity. You know that once you go across, you just follow the path, and then you'll take the south route.
Yeah.
So you keep going. You come up to where there's a fork in the pathway. You go ahead and take your south direction. At this point, it's probably about midday, noontime, when you start making your way south along the path. There's looks like there's a little bit more, or sorry, a little less kind of worn path here. Maybe not as prevalent as the one that you just came off of across the river, but you make your way down. It's still pretty smooth. You're gonna keep trying to walk on foot at this point, or do you want to try to?
I'll try one more time to let me ride her.
Okay. So you go ahead and get on her back again. Go ahead and roll another animal handling check.
16.
16. Okay. This time she seems to respond to the little whip of the reins, and she starts walking.
Thank God. Wait, no, don't thank that God.
Which one are you thinking? There's a lot of them in this universe.
And she just brushes it off like, fuck, don't worship that. No. And just like onwards.
Yep. Throughout the day, you take time to eat some more rations, and we'll just say for the sake of time, you stop in to get some water yourself. Make sure the horse gets some water.
Yeah.
And about when it starts to get dusk, you come across what you think is the tavern that was mentioned by Devonius.
Hmm.
It's off to the right-hand side across the river from the path. Thatchwork on top. Looks like there is leather that kind of outlines an octagonal-shaped house. It's a decent size. The door is a little short at the front than what you're used to seeing. The building's also a tad bit shorter as well. Looks like you might just barely fit inside the house, actually. But there's looks like there's a couple gardens out there. There's some shrubs that kind of line around the building. There's also looks like a fire pit outside. It's a couple other piles of wood and tools and some other little knick-knack things that looks like this is some kind of pretty well-established abode for whoever might be living here.
I hop down from the horse and grab the reins, and I walk over to the door, and I just tap on it, be like, hello.
Okay. So you knock on the door. You said you tied the horse down?
No, I've got the horse in my hand.
So you just hop down. You're still holding the horse. All right. So you knock on the door, and you hear this. You hear some kind of rummaging inside. You're not sure what it is yet. It's almost like someone. Kind of the sounds of someone not expecting someone to be around. It takes about 30 seconds or so before someone comes to the door. Opens the door, and you see a small dwarven figure, a little bit older, and after a little time, she says, "Well, I haven't had guests here for a while. Oh, what can I do for you, Missy?"
Hiya. I was told by a friend of mine, well, more of an acquaintance, really, that you are available to hire for misdeeds, as to say.
Oh, I haven't done any kind of misdeeds in a long time. I'm not sure who told you that, but if you're looking for a place to stay, I might be able to host you for a night. Might be a little tiny for you. Not used to having guests. Might be able to find some way to. This is a little bit of a pickle. It's been a while since I've had guests. Did I even have a guest room?
Starting to get the sense of kind of an older dwarf, maybe losing a few of her marbles.
Would you happen to know somebody I could hire for let's say, a removal of a person?
Oh, I mean, I don't know why you need to remove somebody. I mean, lots of people have stories, and lots of people are usually good, honored folk. But I mean, I've known a few sketchy people back in my day. Might know someone who, if you need to get a dirty job done, they might be able to help out. But you're looking for what's the big deal?
Let's just say it's from somebody high up, and if I don't get this done, bad things will happen to me.
Oh, well, I guess it's bad things happen to one person or the other. I mean, what's so bad that this person, I'm guessing it's some kind of person you need to, bring in, or you need to, arrest or something?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, well, you're not going to get a lot of aid around here. The elves up north, they like to keep to themselves. They are just kind of their own little folk. I kind of just moved out here to have my own peace. Get a lot of folk that come by here every once in a while. No one that really knocks on my door. They just usually pass on by me. So the fact that you stopped and knocked on my door, well, I guess I won't hesitate to at least entertain what you may have or needs that you have. But come on in. Let's see.
A duck on under. It is like a walk-in.
Yep. A- After a minute, you see the dwarf kind of flick her wrist, and all of a sudden you see these two wooden posts come up, and magically the reins of the horse wrap around it and tie themselves off.
Gosh, what kind of incantation was that?
Oh well, I'm. As you can tell, I'm probably a little bit out of my league, but not most dwarves are used to having kind of these wizard powers. You see, I used to be well sought after for my talents, and some recent changes. I'm sorry, probably a little more recent for you. These changes probably happened before you were born, kiddo. But some changes happened for the dwarven kind that I'm from that didn't take too kindly to the powers that I had. It's not easy being a dwarven wizard in this neck of the world, but nonetheless, I kind of just came out here and on my way to retirement, pretty much at this point. Help whoever needs help along this path. There seems to be quite a few odds and ends that happen along here, and just get to tell stories and help people out like yourself.
I believe there shall be a large party coming through, if I remember correctly.
You don't say.
They'll be coming through soon. If I remember, I think the next few days. So maybe if I was to come across them, I will send them your way, and you can have some friends.
I certainly appreciate it. How do you know this? Do you also have some kind of divine magical abilities yourself?
No, the friend of mine I was telling you about, he's kind of involved with the group. And
I see.
He wants some associations being held up and stuff like that. But yes, I will try and send them your way if I come by. But I believe they will be coming past you anyway, so they might come by anyway if I'm not involved.
Well, okay. Well, be happy to take them in if they so decide to stop by my door and knock, like you so have. About this person you need to, I guess, have arrested or brought in. I'm not sure I might be much of help. I've been kind of on my own for quite some time. I don't even know how long it's been.
That is okay. I will probably end up checking out the tavern, see if any of the figures out there would be willing to help.
I see. Well, appreciate your kindness. Care for any biscuits or tea or anything I can?
Would I be able to camp out in your yard this evening?
Sure. Just avoid the little odds and ends. I'm always tinkering with a couple things back there, but if you stay out of the gardens and the couple small fields I have out there, and just stick to maybe a little bit more of the green grass by the pathway, you'll probably be okay. There's a few trinkets out there. I've had some run-ins with my own magic, and I forgot that I put them there. So you might just want to stay out of a couple of those.
Yes, I understand. Is it okay if I leave my horse here while I check out the tavern? I just.
Oh, certainly. I've got some nice berries that will do very well for the horse. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
Yes. I don't know who I would end up finding in there, and if I leave them outside with somebody I don't trust, I fear I might lose my investment.
I see. Well, all the formalities aside, I'm Hisserin Tinkerfer, dwarven wizard at your service. And what is your name?
My
lady. Alas.
I'm Evie Rodder. I'm originally a fisher. I used to fish down by the coast, but I've newly come across some druidic abilities that I didn't realize I had, and so I've started to become an adventurer.
Druidic abilities, you say?
Yes.
That's not something that's usually. So you.
My parents kind of repressed me from that side of my knowledge. They kind of convinced me that I didn't have any.
Were they themselves druidic that you knew of?
I believe my father was, but my mother wasn't really involved with him. She tried to keep that side of relations away from me.
I see. Family dynamics have always been a troublesome thing, aren't they?
Yes, so I'm just recently learning of my abilities and trying to, well, I learnt of them because, accidents and mishaps and all. And
I see.
I'm just slowly becoming to terms with it.
I see. Well, be happy to put you up for a night. Stay as long as you need to. If you're just camping out there, be happy to make you some meals. It's nothing super fancy. I don't really go off of a lot more than what's just in my garden. But
I would absolutely enjoy that. I'll be on my way to the tavern now. I should be back not too long from now.
So just so you know, this is like a hut that's just off on its own.
Yeah.
It's not like a city or a village or. So when you say tavern, she's just gonna be like, okay. There's no tavern around here, but.
Oh, you said tavern, so I thought there was a tavern nearby.
Oh, did I say tavern?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a little hut that's off to the side of the. Okay. Yeah. No, it's just its own isolated hut, almost like. She's kind of just living as a hermit on her own.
Okay, so I walk outside the hut and I'm like, I'll be back in a few moments. And I go, excuse me, who am I meant to be looking for?
You just kind of speak this out into the ether, and you don't really get a response back immediately.
I was told there would be somebody here to help me. Yeah, I will. Do we have the map?
I can pull it up in roll 20 if you need to. Take a look at it.
Yeah.
So you are. You see that ping? In the map yet?
I'm pinging now. Oh wait, no, I'm not in your one. I'm in the other one. I need to exit the game.
Oh, Bobby's one?
Yeah. Oh gosh. No, Roll20 hates me right now. Oh my gosh. No, go away. Thank you. Launch game.
Oh, there you go. I see your little name tag in there now.
Oh gosh, it's not loaded for me. It's like super blurry.
Yeah, it was super blurry for me until it took quite a while to load.
So we're around here-ish.
You're about right here at the moment.
Yeah.
And the party is where the wagon is. So they're still about a day's journey away from where you are.
Okay. I think I don't know. I think I will maybe backtrack to try and find a person.
Okay.
Because I now like set up relationships with the person here.
You're going on your own, or are you going with the horse?
I'll go with the horse. It'll be quicker. I'll hopefully run there and back.
Okay. You hop on the horse, and you do another animal handling check, because you're trying to run with the horse, right? So this is going to be something.
Yeah. 21.
Okay. What are you doing to try to get the horse to run?
It's like full on, like come on, like full on, like whacking the reins and giddying up.
It takes a little time to kind of get across. Eventually, she does pick up pace a little bit. She doesn't get ever into a full-on run, but it's faster than walking.
Yeah.
More kind of trotting at this point. Kind of trots for a little bit, then starts walking again. You kind of get her to speed up a little bit. You maybe head out in that direction for 30 minutes. You're not quite back to where the fork in the road is. Keep going.
Yeah.
Head back. Okay. Roll another animal handling check for me.
14.
14. At this point, she starts to kind of just wag her head, almost like she's getting frustrated now that you keep on trying to make her go faster. And starts now kind of weaving back and forth and just stopping as you're trying to keep whipping the reins to go faster.
Okay. I'll ease up a bit. Just hoping to get like a fast trot.
Okay.
Not a full-on speedy run.
After a little bit, she just kind of stops as you've been trying to do this and trying to get her to just kind of go faster than a walk. At some point, she just stops.
Okay. All right. I hop down. I grab her reins, and I'm like, okay, I get it. We'll just run together.
So you're gonna try to convince her to run with you?
Yeah, I grab the reins and we'll run together.
She does not budge.
I'll give you more snacks. I'll get you carrots when we go to the city, the town. I'll buy you something. Just come on, please.
Another animal handling check.
Yeah. 16 plus 5, so 21.
Okay. This time she starts walking with you and kind of jogs a little bit, not into a full trot, but a little bit faster than a walk.
Thank God. Right, let's keep going.
All right, so you get up to the fork in the road. You wait there for like 30 minutes or so. No one's there.
Gosh. Right, I guess we continue onwards. We need to find wherever this person is. Maybe we'll head back to the tavern.
Okay.
We've got a bit of chance. Yeah, we'll head to the tavern.
You go back down south. It takes another hour or so with kind of the walking on foot. As you actually get to the hut, you notice a couple of people walking by. Very, very shady individuals that seem to be kind of hanging close to the tree line instead of the path.
I put the horse back at the hut, seeing as she's having a little fit. And
at this point, you see the older dwarven lady that's actually out in the back, kind of grabbing berries or harvest for dinner.
And I go over to her and I was like, she really, really wants those berries.
You're saying that to the people or to her?
To the lady.
Okay.
I'm like, she's really been wanting those berries since our ride.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll get something set up for her. You know what she likes the best? I've got a few different options.
How about you try them all? I've only recently purchased her, and I would like to know what she is more a fan of.
Okay, I'm happy to do that for you. I'll let you know what she ends up liking.
Thank you. I'm gonna go have a chat with these People over here. That don't
People?
look all
More
that.
people? Are they
Yes,
with you?
they're in... No, they are not at the moment. I'm going to have a little conversation with them and see what they are browsing over there for.
Oh, okay. Well, beware of strangers.
I understand. I won't be long. And I walk over to the fellows, being like, "Hello," like really like I could kill you if I wanted to, like kind of talk. I'm like, "Hello."
One of them looks over to you and says, "This is the person."
Oh, so you know of me?
We were told that someone would be coming by this direction, asking for some work to be done. Wasn't expecting a woman to be coming by these parts, especially with such a seems like problem that needs to be solved.
Are you talking about my horse? Because she is brand new, and I don't take kindly to tolling.
She's got some wit about her too, apparently. The other person just just keeps looking from a distance, kind of almost minding their own business and looking away.
I'm gonna guess they're in charge of you.
Well, in charge might be a little bit of a overstatement. We're partners. The other one looks over and is like, "You wouldn't be anywhere if it weren't for me."
So I was right. Hello there. I would like to talk to you, if that's okay.
I suppose if you are I guess you're Evie, aren't you?
Yes, that is me. And who may you be?
Well, I'm Dirk. You can call me Dirk.
Dirk.
This guy over here doesn't matter too much. Oh well, I'm Steven. I don't know. That's what they call me. I'm just the whole initiation thing, and the Dirk kind of bats him across the head. It's like, she doesn't need to know. So
Yes. Okay. I was.
you need some work done. Apparently,
Yes.
There's some creature or something that need us to deal with.
Yes, a bunny, and for your friend Stephen, apparently they are a she. So do that as you will, Stephen. And I'll look over to you and I go, yes, they're a bunny, a rabbit folk, I believe.
I see. Well, we're talking a bunny or rabbit folk. That's a new one to me.
Yes, I
I see.
haven't seen one before.
Must be something weird and strange. Can definitely see where might need some specialty a little bit. We've got some folks that might be trained in the oddities of creatures. Is there any
Yes,
more you can tell us about what this individual is?
I was informed.
What dangers they pose?
I don't know much. I have not been told much. I know they are magical, and I know that they are very fast. They are high with the speeds of a rabbit, obviously. So I would suggest the utmost caution. They probably have the rabbit-like senses as well. So stealth will be very, very important on this mission.
I see.
And we need to keep this down low, if you understand me. Not extravagant, just get it over and done with. Quite quickly.
Do you have a picture of this individual?
Actually, yes, I do. Their name is Melog, and I pull open my book and just hand them the picture and then close the book real quick.
Okay.
That is a drawing of them. I hope this is helpful.
So Dirk takes the picture, looks at it, like, I say, well, Steven here is going to be the one that's going to execute Melog here. Steven looks like it's like, oh, another mission for me? And gets another smack from Dirk. It's like, that's why I brought you out here in the first place, you twat.
Wait, are you sure he is of the stealthy kind? He does not seem that discreet.
While Dirk's holding onto the picture, you just see Dirk touch Steven and transforms into this really strange looking, almost like Underdark wolf-like creature.
Are you of the Druid nature?
Our powers are well beyond the druidic type.
I see. Well, as long as you get the work done, I do not see you as anything else other than a hired help.
That's what we're here for. We've already been paid in advance to deal with your little problem.
And I'm sure that discretion is key here, and my name will not be brought up into this.
Of course. There will be no even trace leading back to you on this little execution, shall we say.
Can you guarantee Stephen here will not talk?
What do you say, Stephen? He taps him again. Stephen pops back up into his kind of hooded form. And it's like, you got it, boss. Whatever you say, boss.
I see you have him under the whip.
You have our word, it will be taken care of. We both have a mutual client who likes to get results done.
Yes.
And see, you've held up your end of the bargain. Now it's our turn to hold up ours. You can expect this to be done tonight.
They will be showing up sooner or later. I'll be in the hut nearby. I will probably try to make it look like I am there to help them. If, as I don't want it to be suspicious of me being nearby when it happens.
Nothing will ever be questioning to them at all of your presence in this.
Good, I'm glad. Well, I will see you soon. And also, you were not very stealthy earlier. I could see you from a mile away, so be careful on that.
Well, we kind of had to make ourselves a little bit more present since you missed us the first time.
You could have, given us a signal, but you were just deciding to not. I had to ride half an hour and back on a horse that does not want to ride. It is quite a challenge right now.
I'm figuring you were away for 3 hours since you left this little hut. And it seems like your perception could use a little work.
I am still learning. Thank you very much. And the master of trickery is tricking me, and I do not care for it.
These are the forces that we deal with, dealing with such beings.
Yes.
And with such interests, there's always some price to pay.
And this is my price. Hopefully it'll be over and done with soon. I do not care for such messy subjects.
Well, you will not hear from us again. Deed will be done, and this little rabbit folk problem be of no more nuisance to either of us.
I am glad. I will be on my way now to take rest.
You rest up.
Good night.
He pulls Stephen back, and Stephen kind of like, nice to meet you! And like, as getting yanked back into the forest.
And I sigh, I was like, this is going to go terribly wrong.
You make your way back over to the hut, and the dwarven older lady's still out in the back, pulling up the last berries. As you're coming up, you see her actually come around, start feeding the horse some of the berries. And she's like, "Oh, you want to actually feed some of the berries to the horse? See, you're done talking with your friends over there. Figure it might be
Yes.
best that you actually feed the berries to the horse."
Yes, I would love to. I would love to get her to trust me more. And would you maybe have some tips on getting her to walk by chance?
Well, most problems that horse riders will typically make first mistakes is they don't see any stirrups or anything, so that's a good thing. They don't like the poking and prodding on the stomach area.
Yes, I knew that. As I would not be the same, I do not tend to use spurs on my animal friends.
They don't like
But-
that. So you're already off to a great
Yeah.
start. What is it that you typically do to try to get her to move?
The reins for first. I did try some feed, but that didn't seem to work either. I did try her getting used to the saddle for a day by putting some weight onto the stirrups first, and she seemed to get on with that quite well, and she allowed me to ride her. But that is as far as I've gotten, it seems.
I see. Well, do you know how old the horse is? She looks rather young for a bridled horse, actually. Much younger than would probably be advised, actually, given
Yeah,
what I know of equestrian nature.
Yeah, they didn't provide me with an age. They just sold me it for cheap, apparently.
Did they tell you why?
They said she was high strung and very, what was the word? What was it? I think it was, she likes to break away and run off.
I see. She's still probably too young to be bridled at this point. Perhaps I can talk to the horse and maybe get her to maybe understand a little bit of where you're coming from. Maybe we can make this a little bit of an easier transition for you to come to a mutual relationship with
Yes,
understanding each other.
I would like that very much.
Okay. Well, it seems like you have a pretty good sense of how to properly treat a horse, so you're off to a very good start. It's probably going to take some time. She's very young. She's very untrained.
I do have abilities with animals as well. I have abilities in my druidic craft. I haven't used it on her yet because I do not wish to force that relationship.
That is very wise. I feel like you two will become companions in time.
Yes. They did say she was quite young, and I just thought she might have been old enough to be ridden, but apparently that was not the case when they sold it to me.
I see.
It
seems like whoever was in charge of or taking care of this horse maybe did not quite know what they were doing. Which is
yes,
sad.
I see that.
Well, if you'll hold on to this for me, she hands you the basket of berries that she collected. Yes. She puts her hand up to the horse, starts petting the nose, and then you see her eyes go white as she's starting to do some kind of spell or something. Almost like she's either, you don't know kind of what she's doing, but I think you could do an Arcana check if you want to try to find out.
Yeah, I will do an Arcana check. +3. 18 + 3, 21.
Okay. You don't quite recognize the exact nature of the spell, given that you're still kind of learning Druidic, so you don't know what's Druidic, what's not. But by the sense of how the horse is reacting, kind of some of the aura that's being given off, that's a little bit more of kind of a pinkish purple nature. There's some kind of almost like a mental connection, almost like trying to kind of read the mind of the horse, or trying to understand the horse, or kind of almost speaking to the horse telepathically in some kind of manner like that. It goes on for a couple of minutes, and after a while she comes back out and she's like, well, I see this horse had a very tough upbringing. She's definitely got quite a bit, but I feel like in time you all will become good acquaintances. I tried to reassure, or try to implant some assurances that you mean well to her. Time will tell if she is receptive to that, but I think trying the berries now would be a good start.
Yeah. I take like a handful of the berries and I just reach out my hand and I start feeding her.
In the basket, there's 3 different berries. Looks like something that's very similar to a raspberry, kind of has that reddish tinge to it with the little bumps on it. There's another one that kind of is maybe a little bit more of a blueberry looking kind of berry. And then there's these other kind of let's say for the heck of it, they're strawberries.
Yeah.
You got something that's like a raspberry, then blueberries and strawberries. Which one are you trying to feed first?
I'll try the blueberries first.
Okay. All right. So you start feeding the blueberries to the horse. Go ahead and roll an animal handling check, please.
Nat 20.
Okay. She is eating the berries and seems to be enjoying them very much. When she starts eating them, she actually kind of sniffs over to the basket, kind of indicating that she wants more.
Yeah.
There's still some blueberries left in the basket. There's still the other 2 berries.
I tried the strawberries.
Strawberries?
See if she likes them as well.
Okay. Another animal handling check, please.
Nat 1. She does not like those strawberries.
So you start trying to feed her the strawberries. She kind of starts to kind of take one and sniff it a little bit, but then she kind of goes back to the basket, almost indicating that she wants more of the other berry that you gave her.
Yeah. And then I try the raspberries
Okay,
last.
another animal handling check.
A 2. She wants those blueberries.
She does want those blueberries. She keeps motioning back to the basket, and it's like almost now trying to get into the basket to get to the blueberries.
Yeah, so I blueberries and I put the basket down with the rest of the berries, and I gesture over to the woman and was like, yeah, I think she has a favorite.
Oh, it looks like she does. Blueberries. Very interesting. That's a very interesting. She's a very wild spirit then. Interesting.
What does that mean? Does the blueberries tell you something about her?
For some animals, given certain personalities, it could mean several things. Given how young she is and what her upbringing kind of is, it could change over time. But right now, very kind of rebellious and free-spirited, which is not uncommon for a horse of this age. It will probably take a little time to mellow out, but if you all develop a good rapport, I think you could use it to your advantage.
Interesting. Would you be able to pack me up some of those blueberries in order to help me get on with her better?
I've got a few more left. Kind of picked through about half of the stock. I don't actually have a lot at the moment. They're not. Didn't have a good harvest on the blueberries this season, unfortunately. But I'll pack up what I have left that I don't need for the rest of this season, and we'll happily give it to you.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
Dinner's about ready. Be more than happy for you to come on in. I've got some root vegetables and making some soup. You can't really do much with garden stuff other than soup and
Yep.
bread and whatnot. So
She
that's not foreshadowing of any kind. Don't worry.
she
Just thought it was funny.
she ducks in and she's like, yes, I'll come in and have some food.
There's this new kind of thing that I've heard about. It's called a soup bowl. Take some bread and put some soup in it. It's quite delicious. You might actually like it, in fact.
Yes, I'll be down to try anything.
All right, so you go back in. It's another probably 30 minutes or so. During this time, she kind of just is trying to be the kind, motherly old person and ask you like where you're from, what you've done. Also, kind of starts asking, so how long have you had these druidic powers for that you've realized, and have you been practicing? Has it been hard for you to learn?
Well, obviously I had them forever. I've just never knew about it. And recently I have been practicing. I've started picking up on the druidic language. That has been it's been quite in between with that one, seeing as I already know Elvish. It was kind of a rocky start, but I've started to pick up phrases that are in Elvish and Druidic, and I kind of picked up on it quite easily after that. There are some issues I've been having with some of the spells, but I'll eventually have that sorted out once I've got the hang of it a bit more.
I see. Well, most of the time that comes pretty nature, but it's not surprising that it was unfortunately suppressed by your parents. That might take a little time for you to get back into the swing of things. Haven't really heard of. I mean, usually the druidic spells work and they don't. I haven't heard of anyone actually getting different outcomes.
I think it. I don't know. It might be because of the repressed nature.
It's very peculiar.
Yes, it's
You learn
specifically with
something new every day, I guess.
Yeah, I specifically have struggled with my wild shape, and I've heard most druids it comes quite naturally to them, but for me, for some reason, I just can't get it right. Like sometimes I'm get it right, then sometimes I'm a cat with a rabbit face or a dog with an elephant trunk. You see,
That's quite strange. Wild shape
yes.
is one of the like very basic and one of not the first learned druidic spells.
I know. I have read that in druids it is quite it's first nature to them, but I just
Yes.
don't know what's up with it for some reason.
Do you mind showing me your wild shape?
Yes. It might work. It might not. So, I'm able to do it one more time before I wear out today, I guess.
Yep. Well, you technically rested.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah. I should be able to try and do it today. That is a 10.
A 10. Okay, so you let's just say for the sake of it, you go outside just to make sure whatever you're trying to transform into doesn't go horribly wrong. As she's out there looking at you, and what are you trying to shape into?
I will try for a horse.
Horse?
Seeing as that's on brand. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this will be interesting. Okay. So as you start going through, what is it? Is it? I think it's incantation. Something else? No, it's not even.
No, it's just nature.
Right, but I didn't know if it was.
It's literally just you do it. Yeah, you just magically assume a shape.
Okay, it's just it's not verbal or.
Yeah, it's just in your mind.
You just do it. You just do it. Okay. All right. So as you focus on the horse shape, it actually doesn't take too long. You actually transform into the horse, and you actually look over, and your horse companion actually looks over to you, and it kind of looks at you and starts to walk over before getting caught on the reins that's tying her to the post. Well, not startled, but definitely intrigued by the fact that just saw you turn into a horse.
I walk over and I just like headbutt her, and then I walk back over to the woman, being like, "It seemed to have worked this time, I guess."
Yes, and I see your horse kind of interesting. Took a keen interest in the fact that you transformed into another being like her. Might be something worth remembering if you need some reassurance for her.
Yes, I'll have to use it to my advantage later on, I guess. If it works. Again.
Well,
And I just turn back.
I didn't see anything wrong there. I mean, you transformed like any other druid that I've come across in my time.
Yes, you should have seen the one earlier. I was a wolf with a rabbit's face.
I see. Well,
I can try again. I can try again. To see if it happens this time. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it will. But we'll see. And then I transform again.
Can you do it back to back?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Stay in the shape before reverting back to your normal form.
You can stay in the beast for an hour.
Doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you could do it again. So what'd you roll?
A 6.
6. Okay. And what are you trying to transform into?
I'll do the same again just to,
Okay.
a horse to see like the difference.
This time you transform into a horse again, but different color, but still a horse. So just a different color of fur.
Mm-hmm.
Hide, fur, hair.
Yeah. As you can see, I was trying to go for the exact same kind of horse. It did not work.
I see. Well, druidic nature can be a little bit wild sometimes, so it's not uncommon to get features that are a little bit different, such as hair color. If that's the only issues you're having, I wouldn't be too worried about it, my dear.
But as I was saying earlier, it sometimes isn't just a slight different hair color. Sometimes I'm pink, or I am a dog with an elephant trunk.
I see. What are you using to learn of this druidic power that you have?
I found a book from my father, just left hiding underneath some floorboards, and I've been using that.
I see. May I have a look at the book?
I don't have it on me at the moment. I left it at my house.
Okay. I see.
Yes. As I didn't want to lose my only heirloom from my father.
I see. Well, I guess just keep practicing on it then. It's very, very peculiar though that you're having such a. If what you're saying is true, that you're having such problems. Unfortunately, my magic type is not of the same variety as yours is, but hopefully you'll. I know some druidic friends that might be able to help if you're interested.
I think I'll be able to get it under control. I am still learning, but hopefully soon I will have it under control and working as it should. The rest of my spells, I mostly get them right. That's just a slip of the tongue, mostly.
I see. Well, dinner's almost ready. If you would like to come back inside, and we'll have some dinner, and you can, I guess, head on over to the. Got a spot picked out where you're going to camp out for the night?
Yes, I have it already.
Sorry, I don't.
To go.
Not used to having guests, so I don't have a bed that will unfortunately fit you, my dear.
Oh no, this is fine. I am far used to traveling and camping outside. But yes, this, and I transform back into a human and I walk inside. ducking under the door.
So you all have dinner. A little more chit chat. You head on out back to the tent. Do you leave the horse with you over to the tent, or do you leave the horse tied to the?
And then I tie up to the nearby fence or tree, whatever's nearby.
Okay. So you sleep through the night. You hear kind of a little bit more rustle and bustle while Hisrin gets stuff cleaned up and heads to bed herself. You hear these kind of pops of magic, almost like she's putting an alarm system around her hut a little bit, and you hear some of these pops actually pop up around you as well.
Yeah.
Almost as putting in some kind of invisible barrier around her property and around you, since you're there. Sleep through the night. That's where we'll conclude.
Sweet.
All right. So your mark has been laid.
Yes.
We'll see where this picks up with the main group. See how the assassination attempts happens, and for those of you all that might be watching this after you learn about this.